Hi, my name is Gene Matoka, and this is my first ever product review, and I'm going to do a review on the most exciting of consumer electronics, the light bulb. I was compelled to do this review by this product. This is the Philips LED. It's the Ambient LED 8 watt, 40 watt equivalent LED light bulb. I'm a bit of a electrical efficiency, energy efficiency nut, and I have compact fluorescent bulbs all over my house. And if you've been watching this space any at all, you know that LEDs are the coming technology in consumer lighting. And I've purchased a few LED products as they've come out over the last year or so. Haven't been terribly impressed with them. There are some applications which they work very well for, like floodlighting, spotlighting, but I really haven't found something that was a really good equivalent to an incandescent bulb, which is sort of the reference for the industry. So I was in Home Depot and I saw this product. They had it on sale for $17, which is a little expensive for a light bulb, I will admit, but I'll get more into how the pricing on these things is probably going to work. So I picked one up and I brought it home and I put it into one of my fixtures here in my house, and I realized that what I had here was something revolutionary in consumer lighting. I would go as far as calling it the holy grail of incandescent alternative lighting. This bulb addresses pretty much every drawback of these, compact fluorescent bulbs. Real quickly, if you use these at all, you know some of the drawbacks of them. The two biggies really are, for a lot of people, are color and slow start. They're blue, and they can take a little time to turn on and warm up. Now, those two concerns you can pretty much eliminate by finding a good bulb. There are bulbs that are as warm as incandescents, and there are some that come on pretty quickly, not instantly, but quickly enough not for it to be a concern. But in addition to those, there are some other problems with these. One, they don't look like traditional incandescent bulbs, so if you have them in an open fixture, that might be an issue. They do contain a little bit of mercury, which if you don't recycle them like I do, I have these all over my house, as I said. When I'm done with them, I throw them in a bag, I take them back to my big box store. So recyclability is not really a concern for me, but it's a point that critics like to push. But I think the real big concerns with these, or at least not concerns, but issues with these for me, is the fact that they really are not dimmable. Even the ones that are dimmable compatible don't dim well. They get down to a certain light level and they basically turn off. And then I guess in the final concern, which not so much a concern here in Texas, but in other climates, is if you're using these outdoors and it's cold, they often don't emit anywhere near their rated lumens. So cold performance can be a bit of an issue. This light bulb addresses every single one of those issues, with the exception of cost, and we'll get into that. But first, I'm going to go and show you this light bulb and some compact fluorescent bulbs in a fixture so that you can see how this bulb really performs. I've actually had the bulb, one of these bulbs, in the fixture above me with two what I consider to be very good compact fluorescent bulbs and an incandescent bulb. And I'll let you be the judge, see if you can figure out which one is which. Take a look at that. I'm going to grab the camera. Thank you, Miss Emma, for the filming. And I'm going to take over from here for 1 second. Alright. Here in my light fixture, and I'll see how this comes out, I have 4 bulbs. It might be a little bit difficult to figure out which one is which. This is actually the LED bulb that I showed you, the Philips. Okay? You can see the color, although it's pretty hard to tell, from the video, but the color is very comparable to an incandescent bulb. Right next to it, I have a 60 watt, this is a Bright Effects 23 watt bulb. Excuse me, it's a 13 watt bulb. It's a 60 watt equivalent. And you can see there, it's looking a little bluer than my LED. I'll give the camera a little time to adjust to the brightness here, but you can see that's a kind of a yellow light. This is a bit more blue. Now I've got to say,
here standing in the room, this bulb does not look like a blue bulb. It's a little bit cooler than the other bulbs in the fixture, but I wouldn't call it a blue bulb by any means. Next to it, I have another compact fluorescent from another company. This is an Vision 14 watt. Again, it's a 60 watt equivalent compact fluorescent bulb. And finally over here, I have a Sylvania 60 watt incandescent bulb. Okay? The light output from these two bulbs is, in my opinion, pretty comparable. This might be the first LED bulb that is overrated. In other words, that's actually underrated. In other words, they say this is a 40 watt equivalent. I would say it's probably a little closer to a 50, and certainly in a multi-socket fixture like this one, having 4 of these bulbs would provide more than enough illumination for pretty much anybody. So there's the head-to-head comparison. Now I am going to stop this for a second. I'm going to demonstrate the dimming capability. Okay, here's our light fixtures again. Now what I've done is I've unscrewed the 2 compact fluorescents because they don't dim very well, and not only do they not dim well, but it actually interferes with the dimming of the other bulbs in the fixtures. So I've unscrewed the compact fluorescents, and I'm going to demonstrate how well this bulb dims. One of the problems with dimmable compact fluorescent bulbs is that they kind of dim in stages. This bulb really doesn't. It really dims pretty well. Again, you're looking at both an incandescent, I'm dimming it down now, it's kind of hard, the camera's adjusting so it's hard to tell, but oops, there we go. They tend to dim in stages. This bulb doesn't do that. I'm trying to get down to a very low illumination. You can see you can get down to a very subtle, soft light with this bulb fairly easily. They've really licked the dimming problem with this bulb.
Well, I hope that gives you a better idea of how these lights actually perform in the real world. And I have to apologize a little bit for the camera and with the automatic white balance and all the other automatic controls on the camera. It's a little bit hard to get across how these lights really look in the real world, but in my opinion these truly are the equivalent of a 50 or a 60 watt incandescent light bulb in virtually every way, which is quite impressive. Kudos to Philips for doing that. Now I did a little bit of research to find out what they're doing in this bulb, and I bought another bulb by Philips because it better shows you what's going on inside this thing. This one has a plastic cover. This bulb doesn't have that. It has this yellow surface here, and what this is this is phosphorus impregnated plastic. And they're illuminating it from the rear with a blue LED, and it's actually the phosphorus that is then producing the white light or the warm yellow light that you actually see being emitted from the bulb. Now, they've been doing this phosphorus technology. This is the same technology that's in fluorescent bulbs. They've been doing it for decades. They've perfected that science. They have very careful control. They have learned it and know how to work with it well. So they can produce the temperatures they want. And the other advantage this has is it reduces the directionality that's present in a lot of other LED bulbs, where the LED itself is actually producing the light you see. Because of the way those are manufactured and packaged, it's hard to make them omnidirectional. They tend to be highly directional. But here, since it's actually this yellow surface that you're seeing that's producing the light, you can see it'd be impossible for that to be directional. It scatters light everywhere, just like an incandescent bulb. That's what's going on. My kudos to Philips for developing this technology. They're not the only company, though, and that's part of why I'm so excited about this. GE is in on this, Sylvania, EchoSmart. There's a whole group of companies, Feet Electronics, that are all making bulbs with this technology that are hitting the market right now. And what that means, in my opinion, is I would be willing to bet by the middle of the summer you could probably get this bulb for $10, this bulb maybe for $20, and a year or two down the road you're probably going to be buying these, in 4 packs for about what you're paying for a compact fluorescence now. So, in my opinion, this is the holy grail of incandescent alternative lighting. It's finally arrived here today, If you're a nut like me, go out and buy one. If you're not, think about replacing bulbs with these, moving them in a few at a time, spread out that cost. You're going to save on your power bill no matter what. The rating on these bulbs is 25,000 hours, which if you go by industry standards is about 15 years of useful life. So these things will really pay for themselves. So happy buying.